In 2010, football came to Africa. The elephants and the lions came out to play the beautiful game. And it was the worst World Cup the world has seen. It was shit. In 2010, I was only 5 years old, so fortunately I missed this abomination of a tournament. But I am always told about how this was apparently the best World Cup of all time. And you ask me why I have trust issues? 7-0-0s, 17 1-0s, 145 goals scored. That's the lowest ever for a 32-team World Cup. Qatar had almost 30 more goals. And you're saying this was the best World Cup of all time. The games were almost unwatchable. But that's not even the worst thing about this tournament. End this. Please. End it. The sound of vuvuzelas sends shivers down my spine. I have never heard something so horrifying in my entire life. I'm begging you, let me watch the games in peace. Now, if the sound wasn't hideous enough, this World Cup managed to produce the worst football in history, the Jabulani. Can you please tell me how you managed to get a Saphir wrong? It's a football. How do you make a football bad? This thing was impossible to play with. What's the point of football if the football isn't footballing? Messi couldn't score, Rooney couldn't score, Ronaldo scored one, but it was against North Korea, so it doesn't count. The only guy who could use this football was Diego Forlan. It was like playing FIFA on sliders. It was unfair. The way the ball would be going one direction and then switch at the last second was insane. It was like they put voodoo on the ball. How can you watch this? Furthermore, literally all of the good teams were terrible. What's the point in the World Cup if no one is good? Italy won in 2006, but in 2010, they were playing like San Marino. How do you lose to Slovakia? France were even worse. They got 1 point, and they shouldn't have even been there. They robbed Ireland in the qualifiers just to lose to South Africa. And England were terrible as well.
Nice to see your whole fans brilliant.
One win against Algeria, Slovenia, and the USA. This is what happens when you have a foreign manager. Brexit means Brexit, mate. They finished below the USA. How do you manage to be so incompetent? And speaking about incompetence, how was this not a goal? This tournament wasn't real, man. The only team who didn't lose was New Zealand, and they got knocked out in the groups. Make it make sense. Even the winners, Spain, were painfully boring. Every single knockout game, they won 1-0. And yet I'm supposed to believe this is the greatest international team of all time? They lost to Switzerland. They had Xavi, Iniesta, David Villa, Fabregas, Fernando Torres, David Silva, and they only won one game by more than one goal. And even that was a 2-0 against Honduras. Is that even a real country? This must be the most overrated team of all time. The only exciting thing that happened in any of their games was when Nigel de Jong attempted to decapitate Xabi Alonso. And this didn't even get a red card. This tournament was truly embarrassing, man. Another team who were absolutely hopeless were the Super Pigeons, who were so bad that their president banned them from playing football for 2 whole years. And after seeing this miss by Yakubu, I don't blame him. One African team who did do well was Ghana, who won a grand total of one game in 90 minutes. But they made it to the quarterfinals, so fair enough. Just to get absolutely robbed by Luis Suarez. This man single-handedly, or actually double-handedly, managed to make himself the most hated man in all of Africa. He is truly the antithesis of football. I've never seen an act of such outrageous cheating before in my life. And this bozo has to be the most shameless man in all of human history. Because how are you going to be moving like this after literally cheating a nation out of a World Cup semi-final? But to be fair, just score the penalty, bro. He'd already scored 2 in the tournament and he scored in the shootout. All he had to do was score the penalty and you f***ed it up. The less said about managers in this tournament, the better. Maradona, fat.
Are you naturally affectionate with everybody?
Something that you learned as a player.
No, don't do it. No. Oh my days, man. North Korea. Yes, North Korea even managed to make this tournament. I think that says a lot on its own. Apparently, they paid Chinese actors to pretend to be North Korean fans in the stands. I have no idea whether that's racism or if it's actually true. North Korean TV also showed them beating Brazil.
핵시험은 조선 반도와 주변 지역의 평화와 안정을 수호하는 데 이바지하게 될 것이다.
This can't be real, man. After this, they decided to actually televise the game against Portugal, and I dread to think what happened to them when they got back home, man. My favourite moment has to be when Abue was pretending he could understand Korean though. Yeah, sure mate. The one good thing about this tournament was the songs. Damn, Shakira's sexy. And I promise you, waving flag will never be topped. Give me freedom, give me fire, give me reason, take me higher.